So today I want to dive into the top 10 things the 2K devs must fix for 2K22. Now these are my personal improvements and expectations for 2K22. As we go on throughout the week, this is going to be a whole series. I'm going to touch on some of the things that you guys expect. I'm going to read some of the things off your list. This is not really a wish list video, it's more of a fix list video, kind of a checks and balances before 2K22 drops to make sure the devs know, not just in word format. Like I've sent all of this stuff that's on this list already to them on the Discord, but now it's time to do an actual video so they have a video record of what I'm saying. So this is like part one of a 3-part series. I usually do like a 2 or 3-part series on this, but at the end I'm gonna basically go through some of the things that you guys suggest, because we want the community, not just me, it's not about me, we want everybody in the community's suggestions to be heard as well. Now this first video is primarily about gameplay, so don't get mad at me if I don't mention all the functionality issues that are wrong with the game as well. We're gonna discuss those problems in the next video. And this is also primarily about next gen, but we're gonna blend current gen into this discussion as well, especially in an upcoming video. Number 1 on my gameplay list is perimeter defense. We need a buff to clamps and bump animations on the perimeter. Of course, dunking is out of control on next gen. We're gonna get to that, but that wouldn't even be a problem if you could at least slow people down on the perimeter. There are so many moments and times where you're in position, but the guy that's dribbling around you doesn't even touch you, just kind of runs right past you, where you used to get a bump animation or your player would actually, tack onto him and kind of bump him as he's going. We were already used to that in 2K19 and 2K20 where defense meant something. Even current gen 2K21, the defense is a lot better than next gen 2K21 defense. And number 2, they need to tone down the overpowered dunking. It's way out of control. I understand that everybody has max dunking. Most people don't make builds without a 95 to a 99 driving dunk. But at no means should they be able to just dunk on everyone in the paint at all times. We're gonna touch on strength and interior defense and block ratings and badges and all that, but I'm just saying people are getting way too many dunk animations at all times. It was never like this in the past. It really shouldn't be like this now. There's a lot of guys that are not actually good at the game that feel like they're dominating now, but it's primarily because it's so much easier. You can just drive into the lane and get an easy dunk on anybody, even if you're a big man with defense. And at number 3, the 2K devs need to just be clear about strength, interior defense, and your block rating, and what impact that has on stopping people in the paint getting easy dunks. If we had more transparency, maybe some guys that have already been testing the game that could come out and explain to us, do a tutorial on that. There's always a 2K tutorial on 2K TV from Mike Wang about dribbling, but nobody's really tackling defense the way they used to. Put my man OG Constant or Dazar on it. Let them do a video breaking down what would make you a better defensive player in the paint. Because right now, it is like the wild, wild west. Anything goes. If you're driving to the rim, you're gonna get a poster. And number 4, allow more than one player to be able to contest the shot without jumping. I've noticed people knock down whites and they green certain shots when there's like 2 of us standing in front of them, but at times I'm not jumping. I don't want to jump out on them. I just want to put my hand up. But because my teammate already did that, the game has it written into the coding to where only one person can interact and put his hand up. If there's 2 or 3 people standing there, why should only one player be able to put his hand up to contest that shot? That's why you guys are seeing what looks like heavily guarded shots going in on 3 players or 2 or 3 different players. Everyone has to jump in order to really effectively change up that shot. But if you don't jump, your hand doesn't go up, your man is just standing there. You're holding the right stick, but your man is just standing there without no hand up. At number 5, I definitely want tighter crossover angles. And what do I mean by angles? It sometimes feels like in 2K21, when you do a certain crossover, you take a wide angle to get to the basket. And it really wasn't like that in previous 2Ks, especially on next gen. If you take a hesitation, you can quick first step straight in a straight line and go right down the middle. But if you do a crossover, your crossover sends you at a wider angle. And I just wish it was more of a shorter angle like it is in real life, where you just kind of cross the guy right in front of you. You should be able to hezzy step, cross over, and blow right past him in a closer distance, rather than going like 5 feet on a wide angle and then try to get to the rim when you're at low stamina. At number 6, we need better driving angles to reduce unexpected fadeaways. A lot of you guys that are new to 2K21, if you're driving, there's times where you're thinking your man's gonna go for a layup or try to attack the basket for a dunk, but you take a weird angle for some reason and your guy does an unexpected fadeaway. And that really wasn't in 2K20. Before, you should be able to go right to the rim, do a layup. Maybe not take the fadeaway. Maybe your guy goes for a layup because you took a bad angle. But for some reason, we're doing unexpected fadeaways, and a lot of people are tired of it. At number 7, bring back all previous 2K shot meters. Let us choose which shot meter we want to use. Why not allow us to have the choice of our favorite 2K's shot meter? At least it'll bring back that nostalgia. Just improve on some of the old ones that we loved and got used to, that were in the game for 3 or 4 years. In fact, if you was a big fan of 2K15 or 16 shot meter, you should be able to go back to that one. Just improve on that one, give it the same graphics, sort of the same look, but let us have the choice of previous 2K shot meters. I think my favorite was like 2K15 and then 2K16, but I even got used to the 2K19, 2K20 shot meter as well. And don't just think that changing the shot meter makes the game newer and that's more innovation added to the game. No, that's nothing new. You're just changing the look or the angle of the shot meter and forcing us to get used to something else. I know it's a lot of us that don't even use shot meters, but I think it would still be better if you were able to have one that you actually liked rather than being forced to like the new one. At number 8, we need to buff and nerf certain badges. In fact, we probably need to just get rid of certain badges altogether. You need to buff Putback Boss. I know we've seen some really amazing animations in the top 10s for sure, but a lot of times I'm seeing my guys get putbacks that are just layups, and it just doesn't look as good. In 2K14, 2K15, we were getting crazy, awesome putbacks. A lot of times you're in position to get a putback and you don't. They need to buff Rise Up. Why is it that I'm seeing 7-foot centers or just big men in general, and the little point guard is stopping them from dunking the ball right on their head in the paint? That should never happen. If you got a big and it's some little skinny guy or somebody with no strength, he should immediately get posterized by that big man in the paint all the time. And you have to buff chase down artists. I don't know what happened to that badge, but in 2K21 Next Gen, it is virtually non-existent. If it has to be coupled with interior defense, then that goes back to my number 3, where the 2K devs have to be more clear about what attributes do what and what badges do what. Because even with my build that had interior defense, I still wasn't getting any chase down artist animations. It's almost like they took that badge out of the game, or it just doesn't work. Very similar to how ankle breakers didn't work for 2K21 current gen for the first month or two when the game dropped. Probably need to nerf blinders, and you definitely need to nerf quick first step Hall of Fame for power forwards. I have point guards that I made that cannot get Hall of Fame quick first step, but my power forwards can. Literally makes no sense. At number 9, you gotta let us change our takeovers and our badges immediately after games. In the park, you should let us make those changes during the recap, and in the rec center right after games in the locker room. Why do we always have to back out? And during the park, you really have no time to change your takeovers. Sometimes if you do, you get your teammate kicked out of the game, or you lag out of the game yourself because the game's trying to process too much. There's too much going on in the city. We want to switch our takeovers to match the competition that we're seeing that wants to play us, but we really can't do that. We have to back out of the game, or in most cases, if you're on the park, you just can't do it at all. And finally, at number 10, this is just a personal of mine, but I personally think that 2K needs to either get rid of or completely overhaul that fluctuating overall system. If you must keep it, adjust it to where you only lose your overall on losses. But even if you have an A- or higher, your overall should still not change even if you take a loss. Don't change it at all if you have an A and higher in a loss, but if you take L's, okay, you can make it fluctuate if that's the way you have to have it. Otherwise, just remove it from the game. It just makes you feel like all that hard work doesn't pay off because you got to go back to my career to fix it. And some of your teammates are not going to see the ball the whole game. Sometimes you're just going to exploit the mismatch. You have a guy on the opposite team that can't guard you, and you're going to do most of the damage. Some of you guys have animations that are locked behind hitting a certain overall, and then you fluctuate and go below that and you lose your animations. That whole system has to be overhauled, reworked, or just trashed if it just doesn't work. We've tried it for 2 years now. 2K20, 2K21, not feeling it. So anyways, this is just a portion of the list of things that I've been sending 2K throughout the year. Just because I'm doing a video now does not mean they haven't already heard this before from me sometime earlier this year. I just want to make sure we have this in video format proof that I put it out there. But at the same time, I've got a longer list, a lot more stuff to discuss. I want you guys, put your concerns in the comment section as well. What are some things you think they need to have fixed before 2K22 drops pertaining to gameplay? We're gonna do features and functionality in the next video. Then we're gonna touch on some current gen and a few things after that in the third video. So stay tuned for more. If there's some things that you think that I might not mention in the next video, feel free to put that in the comment section as well. It's your boy Shake. Smack that like for the hype. Subscribe and click that bell for notifications. And I'll see you guys in the next one. It's Sunday, so it's time for the NBA playoffs top 10 plays of the week. And number 10, we've got Kawhi Leonard.
My goodness. There's a lineup that they have on the floor. They have the ability. My goodness.
Kawhi Leonard with a
dunking on 7'3" Porzingis.
As Doncic takes another foul.
It's a good thing he wasn't hurt.